There has been an earthquake in international football with Germany losing 6-0 to Spain this past Tuesday night in the UEFA Nations League. The German manager Joachim Löw said before the game he was hoping for a nice end to the year, but instead it certainly ends on a sour note for Joachim Löw and the German national team, who have suffered their worst defeat in 89 years. The implications of this result are likely to be huge. I mean, are Spain now the favourites to win the Nations League? Are they perhaps one of the favourites to take the European Championship title in 7 months' time? What about Germany? Is this crisis point? They haven't been good for a number of months now, if not more. And are they struggling to settle down with the changes they've made? Obviously, Boateng, Muller, Hummels have been kicked out of the team. They're trying something new. Is it working? Is it time for Joachim Löw to go? Is there enough time for a new coach to come in and change things in this German national team? A lot of questions, a lot of implications based on this result. But this video is primarily made to take a look at the reaction of the German media to the result in Seville. And let's begin with Bild. The Bild, obviously one of the biggest papers in Germany. How have they handled this result? They've gone with a headline, and obviously I'll translate into English. It's "Now Jogi is wobbling." Jogi, of course, Joachim Löw, referring to the German manager. With 7 months to go, says the paper, is he the man to be trusted with the position of the German of the manager of the national team in Germany? Is he the man to take Germany to the European title? Well, I think based on this result, a lot of the Germans will not even be hoping for a German title. They'll just be hoping for a respectable performance at the European Championships. Don't forget they're in the group of death. They've got Portugal, they've got France in their group in the Euros, and also Hungary. And based on this performance and performances beforehand, it's not a given that Hungary will lay down and just let Germany pick up the 3 points. Hungary will be there fighting against the Germans, and who knows, that's actually the final game of the group stage in that group in the European Championship, so that will certainly not be easy. But anyway, the paper goes on to say that if Jogi Löw is not the man to take them forward, who is? And they've offered a couple of suggestions. Ralf Rangnick was the first one mentioned, the 62-year-old manager, and Stefan Kuntz, who himself, enjoyed a good day. He is the under-21 manager for Germany at the moment. He beat Wales to qualify for another major tournament. So is he the man to take Germany forward? When I had a look at the betting odds, BetAtHome on their German website, looking at who are the favourites to take over from Jogi Löw, Kuntz is actually the favourite to take over. Second favourite, Miroslav Klose, obviously Germany legend. Jurgen Klopp, third favourite to take over in the German as the German national team manager. Ralf Rangnick is in fourth. Horst Hrubesch is on the list next. I'm sure Horst Hrubesch is over 70 years old now. He's working with Hamburg HSV as things stand. You often see him when BT Sport are showing the Hamburg games. He's always in the stands. He's always watching. Could he be the man to take over in Germany? Arsene Wenger is on the list. Jupp Heynckes is on the list. Bless, Jupp. He's had to come in and save Bayern on a couple of occasions now. Will he have to come in and help his national side? We'll have to wait and see. All cards, I think, are on the table. But that is obviously the reaction from Bild, focusing on the future of Jogi Löw and whether he is the man to lead this national team into the Euros with 7 months to go. Taking a look at Welt now and what they had to say. Welt go with Mesut Ozil's reaction to the game. He put on his social media account saying, "Time to take Jerome Boateng back," and obviously he's referring to what happened back in March 2019, where essentially the German national team froze out Jerome Boateng. They froze out Thomas Müller, froze out Mats Hummels. They wanted a new generation of players. They wanted to freshen things up ahead of the 2020, well now the 2021 European Championships. And obviously Mesut Ozil saying there, Jerome Boateng has to come back, and you know what, it's not out of the question. Could that happen? you never know. The reaction has been no from Jogi Löw. The reaction seems to have been no from the director of the DFB, from the equivalent of the FA in Germany, Oliver Bierhoff. But you can never count anything out. Welt also goes on to describe the performance of the defensive players, German defensive players in that game. Philipp Max, Niklas Süle, Robin Koch, Matthias Ginter. They're really criticising Ginter and his performance in this game against Spain. Next publication, Kicker. They have put together, as every paper, giving their own take on the defeat, but I just wanted to focus in on some of the quotes that they've got after this defeat to Spain. Serge Gnabry, a brief quote from him: "We had no chance at all." That's a profound quote from Gnabry there. Pretty much sums up the evening, but a pretty negative quote as well, with nothing positive to say. But still, clearly conceding to Spain, they were a much better side. Tony Kroos also spoke after the game, saying, "Spain showed us everything with the ball, without the ball. We have to analyse, and there's a lot to be done." And he's certainly right about that. He's taken a lot of stick from the German press, particularly. Manuel Neuer, who conceded the 6 goals, he said, "The body language was disappointing. Too little in terms of leadership and communication." That was the message from the German goalkeeper. Joachim Löw, there's a couple of quotes from him as well. He said, "It's a pitch black day on which nothing worked, no organisation, no closeness to teammates, and no communication." Again with the communication, just like Manuel Neuer mentioned this, and a few other people have mentioned this. Communication, leadership, these are points that keep coming back. Is there a lack of communication and leadership? And how do they go about solving that? That's going to be their main issue ahead of these, there's 7 months to go until the European Championships. The director of the DFB, the director of the German FA, Oliver Bierhoff, looking at his comments, he seems to be backing Joachim Löw. He said, "We have to digest that." Mentioned the performance, of course. "It will take a while. The team has fallen apart a bit. That mustn't happen. We know the quality of our players. The trust in Joachim Löw is there, absolutely." So giving his backing there to Joachim Löw. It's nice to see, to be fair, that he gives his backing. Recently, Poland lost to Italy 2-0 it was a pretty woeful performance from Poland. I remember all the comments from the press, everybody just getting on the manager and him barely receiving any support. But here in Germany it's completely different. Oliver Bierhoff standing up here for Joachim Löw, saying they do have confidence in the manager despite the defeat. You know, it is a profound defeat for Germany, but when you look at it in the grand scheme of things, this was their first defeat in 12 games. Now, fair enough, there has been a lot of draws in the meantime. There has been a lot of really poor performances, a lot of boring performances, a lot of performances that wouldn't inspire anybody. There've been really worrying performances as well. But the fact is that this is the first defeat in 12 games, and if they were to sack Joachim Löw, you'd have to say, with 7 months to go, is there enough time for a new manager? Let's say Stefan Kuntz comes in. Is there enough time for him to change things with the German national side? Or is it just better now to stick with Joachim Löw and see what he can do with his experience, with his knowledge of that German national side ahead of the Euros? Considering what he has done with the national team, perhaps it would be fair to give him those 7 months to see what he can do. Let him finish his contract, which comes to an end in 2022. But obviously we'll have to see what the German national side decide to do. One thing I'll mention though, this is the biggest defeat for Germany in 89 years. The last time they lost like this was 6-0 to Austria in 1931. 1931 was a particularly crap year for Germany. 1932 wasn't much better. 1933 the team improved, and in 1934 the team finished 3rd in the World Cup. That was the first major tournament since that defeat to Austria. So looking historically on that, Germany did bounce back from that defeat there to perform well at a major tournament. Can they do so again here in the Euro 2021? We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see what the repercussions are for Germany, for Joachim Löw, for Spain even, because that will be interesting to see how Spain go into these now, the UEFA Nations League finals, and how they take this competition on, and whether they can perhaps go on and even win it. We'll have to wait and see. But until then, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.